We're 24 games in. There's been 78 goals. There's only 8 teams left. We'll all be watching. This is our Euros. Yes, we're back for episode 2 of our Euros, and we've got another super strong lineup. We've got Manchester City's number 17 and Queen of Catalonia, it's Vicky Losada, a Scouser through and through, and young lioness, it's Missy Bo-Kearns, rock solid centre back. Captain of the Scottish national team is Rachel Corsie, and we've got journalist, bend it like Beckham superstar, it's Miriam Walker-Khan. Well look, the Euros are coming to the crunch part of the tournament. I've loved it, the atmosphere's been amazing. How do you guys think it's gone so far?
I think it's been an amazing tournament. I think it's been blown out of the park in terms of exposure, media. If I'm being totally honest, I didn't think I'd probably want to watch any of the Euros given how Scotland failed to qualify, but it's absolutely better for the game that more nations have put more investment in, have a better framework, and now you're starting to see the quality of the players and even again going back to just the style of teams. It's no longer just the team that has the most players playing professionally or the team that's physically the most elite. You start to see different teams, their structure, how they try and play, how it suits the players they have, and I think it's been such a spectacle for the women's game.
Mim, as a journalist looking at it, these guys are all the players, they're in and amongst it every day. How's it been being part of the media?
I think for me the best thing has been that it's been everywhere, like all over England, and we so rarely get to see that in the north. Like I never thought in Rotherham we'd be seeing the Viking clap from the Icelandic fans, but it's just been all over, and I think that's been the best thing about it, and everyone's kind of got that fever now, and because we're doing so well it's really easy to latch on to, so I think it's been great.
Yeah, I think it's a big eye-opener. It shows where the women's game's at now, and like these players have set it up for us, and now it's the younger generation for us to want to be hungry and even grow it even more.
Is there anyone who stood out for you, Vicky, who perhaps wasn't on your radar before the tournament?
I mean, it's a shame we've lost Alexia Putellas or Katoto or Viv Miedema from COVID, but one player that I really see so focused is Beth Mead. She's just on fire and she's showing it every single game.
I think she's just flying with confidence at the minute. The season she's brought it straight in, and every time she's put the England shirt on this season, whether it was in the qualifiers or in the Euros, she just looks like she's unstoppable.
But it's up to Beth now. Mim, do you think she can do it? She can take on the Golden Boot?
Yeah, I think she's set to do it, and I think one of the best things about Beth in this tournament is we saw that kind of disappointment of her not making the Olympic team last year, and she's used that and she's taken it and she's come back, and she is mentally just like in an amazing place. And I think when players are hungry and want to prove a point, we see the best of them. So I think for Beth, like, she'll just keep flying. Hopefully, if we get into a final, she'll win that Golden Boot.
Well, we've had a minute there for Beth Mead. She deserves it. She's been chipping in, doing well in games. Rachel, is there anyone else, perhaps not in an England shirt, who has surprised you this tournament?
One player who I've played against her a couple of times, and I think we're similar ages, but Svenja Huth for Germany, I think, is a massive player for them. She hasn't necessarily contributed as many goals, so probably isn't a name that everyone's talking about, but when you actually watch them play and see how dangerous they are down that right-hand side where she so often is the one creating those attacks, then I think for me she's someone that is key for Germany, and if she can stay fit, stay on the pitch, then I think someone like Pop off the back of her service, that's a duo that could be very dangerous.
You mentioned Germany there. We look at this 8 now who are left in the tournament. Vicky, no surprises, or should there be a team in there who will be disappointed not to have made it to the knockout stages?
I mean, I think we all agree that no one was expecting Norway after that England defeat 8-0 and not staying in the competition. But you know, the Euros is about this, and I think this time is a really tight tournament, different styles, but you just can't make big mistakes in big tournaments because suddenly you're just at home.
Hey, I love it, underdogs on top, and I'm gonna shine on me until I can't stop.
Describe your playing style in 3 words.
Aggressive, energetic, and determined.
Bezzy in the squad.
Just one. Demi, I'll go with Demi.
Best hype tune before a match.
I like Anya Nakamura, French music.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just from good memories, good memories.
Goat in the women's game.
Goat in the women's game. Marjan for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, from who I've played with, Marjan.
Goat.
Fortunately, she's not at the tournament.
Goat in the men's game.
In the men's game, Messi.
Has to be, right?
Forza Barca.
Who should we be afraid of this Euros?
Germany.
Yeah.
Germany's got a good team.
Tell us one thing about you that we don't know.
That I used to play the saxophone.
Same, alto or tenor?
Alto.
I like that.
Classic Pink Panther, that's the easy one.
Bronze.
Yeah.
In the lionesses, who has the most chill?
In the lionesses. Probably Nikita or Hempo, but for different reasons.
Alright. Who has no chill?
No chill.
Like just fuming or
Just fuming.
loses it?
Who's dead? This is not a Georgia Stanway. Just clock it out the corner. Just hot-head in training.
Alright.
You want it on your team, not against her.
Yeah. Alright. Who has the best style, fashion-wise? You have been mentioned once.
Oh yeah, Kira's got good style. Like Kira's got a good eye for things, but yeah, Kira. She like gives me tips.
She helps you out.
Yeah.
Alright. So she's the OG.
She's the OG, and everybody else kind of just
Catches up.
copies up and catches on. Yeah.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, a rap because I can't
Like
sing.
what? You've got
50 Cent.
What song?
Hate all of it.
Got a line for me?
Hate all of it, underdogs on top, and I'm gonna shine on me until I can't stop.
They're gonna envy me.
I'm wrapped in defeat.
I like
Hey, he's jamming.
Cheese board or a pudding?
Pudding.
What's your go-to? What's like? You get one pudding to order from any menu. What are we saying?
Like, I love like cake and ice cream. That's classic. But I do like
Cake and ice cream is
Yeah.
not. That's not a classic.
ice cream cake. Like cake.
Oh, with the ice cream in the middle.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those in years.
Yeah, I had it in America a lot. Or off a bit of a hate or love it, tiramisu.
Yeah, classic.
I like that.
I'll give you that. You can add one player to the England squad from any other nation. Who you taking?
Who's going to the Euros? Because I would have said Marajan, but she's injured. Hegerberg. I've played with Ada,
yeah.
so I know her. I might have said Viv if I'd played with her, because you know players different when you play week in, week out with them. Yeah, Ada Hegerberg, she's got that crazy winning mentality.
That's what makes her so special, the brain.
Yeah.
Last big question. Where are England finishing this summer at the Euros?
One. Has to be.
I love it. That's it.
Nothing else can happen.
Big love to Lucy, bronze there. Now, you've got to get into it because I'm excited. It's England versus Spain in the first knockout round of the Euros. There's been some...
Is it England-Spain?
England-Spain, it's a big game, it's still a big deal. There's been some big chat from a few Spanish players saying they're not scared of England at all. Should they be a bit more scared than they are?
No, I mean, I think the pressure in this game is all for England, because Spain has lost the big players, and England, the tournament is in England, so England is doing really well. I think it's a perfect game for us to have an extra motivation, and I'm actually looking forward to see how England is going to play, what is going to be their plan.
So which Spanish players are going to be influential?
I think Spain needs to be really good in the middle areas. Players like Mariona Caldente, or Aitana Bonmati and Patrick Guijarro. There's so much quality, but I think they need to be really tidy and more aggressive and quicker when it comes to play against England.
So they're the players we need to get onto them. We need to get touch
No,
tight.
I'm not saying that.
Good luck with that. Touch tight is it's
Pop
quite
you round
scary
the
against it.
So I think Padri, like at a younger age groups at England, I played against her against Spain, and then England we played a different type of football and we was just chasing shadows. She's a few years older than me and she just looks like she's been playing with that team for years, and she's dead mature and a decision making most of the time's brilliant.
How do you see the game going?
I mean, I'm not sure if the manager is going to keep the team that she's been picking, or if we saw in the Arnold Clark that she picked a more physical team, because everybody knows that the Spanish, we don't like the aggressivity and all that contact football. But I don't know if she'll be brave enough to make them so, because the players have been showing great football.
And now, Missy Bo, you're obviously repping for England. They've got to be thinking that that's a tech game that they can go and win and get into the next round of the tournament.
Yeah, I think everything's starting to click for England now. since Serena come in, you can see it's every game they're looking more together, and like against Norway, every pass it was just going in front of the next person. It was gelling really well, and I think it's motivation for England. If you want to win the tournament, you've got to beat the best teams.
We know Serena Williams, she doesn't like to rotate her squad too much. Are there any changes that you think could be the key to beating and unlocking that Spanish team?
I wish I was the manager, I'm joking. I don't think the squad would change, but if I had the choice, I'd probably put Alex Greenwood in on maybe left back, or to have a left-footed defender on, because we've got 3 right-footers in defence, and I think to break Spain down you're going to have to move the ball quickly, and to catch them on the counter you want someone comfortable on the left side just as much as the right.
Alex's passing range is so good. Rachel, you're like the defensive, you're flying the flag for the defensive union.
I just thought that was Scousers looking out for each other.
Scousers looking out. I'm hoping you can help from a defensive point. Would you make that change, or do you think keep the back 4 as it is because it's been doing so well throughout the tournament?
It has been doing well. I think Rachel's done really well left back, not being a left-footed player, and doesn't obviously play that position for her club. And I totally get that argument. There is a natural balance. You know, I play on the left side, and quite naturally you want to come back onto your stronger foot, especially when you're under pressure, which Spain's press is very, very good, especially when they lose that ball in and around that area, which will, I think, challenge England a lot. You would expect them to dominate the ball, and I do think, I'm actually really looking forward to the game, because I've felt there's been a little bit of a narrative of the media have been quite critical of Spain, because I think there was a feeling that England were going to meet them at some point, and I feel like some of their players have probably quite enjoyed that, and I think they'll enjoy showing how good they are.
Must be comfy being a neutral, sat at home with a cup of tea. Are you a Scot who supports England, or will you low-key have the Spain top on
Spain.
at home?
It won't be low-key. I've asked Vicky if I can borrow one of hers. No, I mean, I have friends that play in the England team, so obviously I want them to do well, but I think I wouldn't be let back in if
you're screaming for penalties, just for the spectacle.
Well, yeah. I fancy Spain at penalties.
And you mentioned that media pressure, Mim. England, for how stacked the squad is, how much depth they've got, and the amount of media attention they've had, there still doesn't seem to be that pressure that they're the team to win this tournament. Do you think if they get through this game, that will increase?
Yeah, I think this game will say a lot about that team. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. Obviously, the Spanish team play a lot of high possession football, and that's going to be hard for us. But once we get the ball, like if Beth Mead plays the way she has, it's going to be amazing. I think as well, like, we've kind of underestimated the Spanish team a bit since kind of the eve of the tournament when Pateas was out injured. That's obviously affected them immensely. I don't think we've seen the energy we would see from them, but they've still been an incredible team with like a silly amount of Champions League winners in it. I'm nervous for this game because I think it's going to be our biggest challenge yet.
Vicky, you mentioned possession football. I know Spanish football is known for that culture of lovely passing football, but England midfield this tournament, Kira Walsh is someone who you know very well, has gone underrated, but her passing this tournament, it's the best I've seen her play.
Yeah, definitely. For me, it's their most important player on the pitch. I also think like it's funny because England and Spain have been the most teams in the Euros with more possession, which is it's going to be interesting to see how England is going to play, because I remember England like 5-6 years ago, really physical team, but I think football is changing to a technical, tactical way. And it'll be interesting to see if England is going to be comfortable without the ball, because they've been having really high possession, like 65% like Spain. And I have to say, I said to the Spanish girls, you have to press with being very aggressive Kira Walsh, because she managed the team, she managed the tempo, she controls the game, and everybody has seen it. And she doesn't even move because she's got so much quality and she's so intelligent.
So have you had some of your Spanish teammates on the text getting scouted?
Of course. I feel a bit weird because they're my teammates, but they were my ex-teammates. So I feel like half English, half Spanish, I don't know, it's weird.
So you've been giving them all the intel, so you're like an unofficial scout for the team going
I'm
into
going to let
future.
Kira know.
So
I don't understand Kira, so I'm not speaking to her.
But you think the game will be won or lost in that midfield battle? The
Definitely. Because I think, as I said, Kira moves the English team, and she connects the back line with all the top strikers they have. So if they miss that link, I like to see which plan England has to show, you know.
I definitely think Kira Walsh has been a bit of an unsung hero in the England team, but I'm like a Fran Kirby super fan.
Yeah.
And I think the space she'll have in the number 10 to pick up the ball in those pockets, she too could be really influential for England going forward.
Fran's one of the toughest players to play against, and she's developed her game to know the things that she does so well that are so difficult to stop ultimately, and that she's somebody who can, she creates opportunities, but she also is very, very much someone who can score goals with, you know, just the glimpse of an opportunity at goal. So I don't know if she will play though. She's someone who I think it is she going to play the whole game? I think we probably will see her at some point, but I don't know that she would start, partly because I think she's someone who you can bring on to affect the game, but that discipline in the first 45 minutes I think is going to be a big test for both teams.
Well, if I wasn't excited before, I'm definitely excited now. I don't want to see you in a picture of a Spain top anywhere on social media. Vicky, are going to confiscate your phone until after the game. So we're 16 teams down to 8. It's time for some predictions as the tournament gets interesting. Can I have my magic 8 ball, please? Mediocre chuck, but we're good to go. Now look, this, we had it in episode 1, and it's got a pretty decent conversion rate. So Germany versus Austria. Germany have been a strong team. So have Austria so far. Rachel, how do you see that game going?
It's hard to bet against Germany. I think they just look so strong. The blend of sort of youth and senior players, I think, is at a really good point for them. And now it looks, you know, they've built that momentum. I think it's going to be quite one-sided. I think Germany will get through.
Does anyone disagree? Can anyone see Austria sneaking a victory? No. That simple. So now we've got to go to fate to see what the magic 8 ball says. I actually am really bad at shaking this. I'm still awful. Okay. Magic 8 ball says, Vicky, do you want to help me out? Because I can't seem to get an answer.
What do I have to do?
Just shake it. It should come up with an answer.
It's not working.
Why's it on?
The stars say no.
So the stars reckon
Oh yeah, no.
Austria are going to take the win.
Okay.
Now, next one, potentially the biggest of the knockout stages, France versus Netherlands. Loads of goals, a stacked squad. Mim, I know you are a lover of the French team. How do you see that game going?
I think that's going to be super exciting. I think both teams have lost key players in Katoto and Miedemar, but they're kind of dealing with that quite differently. I would say the Netherlands are playing a lot better. They played really well against Switzerland the other day at Bramall Lane, whereas France playing against Iceland felt a bit sloppy and a bit kind of chaotic, and not the France team that we saw in the first game. So I think it pains me to say this because I love the French team so much. I think they represent so much positivity in like their diversity on the pitch, but I think the Netherlands are hungry to defend that title. They're gonna beat France.
But we got to do a vote before we go to the 8 ball. Rachel, I'll start with you.
Okay.
France or the Netherlands? Who are we going?
I'm going to say France.
Missy Bo?
Netherlands.
Vicky?
France.
Mim, you got to decide and vote. If you take it to 2-2, then I'm allowed to vote. I'm qualified then.
It hurts, but I'm going to say the Netherlands.
After watching France the other day, I'm going to go with the Netherlands too. So, Vicky, you could be right and the 8 ball could be wrong. But Magic 8 ball, France or Netherlands, we're going with the Netherlands. It says, looks like yes. So it agrees with us.
Okay.
So the next game we've got to see where it's going. It's Sweden versus Belgium. Vicky, how do you see that game panning out?
I mean, I think before the tournament, Sweden was one of my favorites. And no one's speaking too much about them, and I think they've been quite consistent. So I'm definitely, that game for me is easy to pick, so I'll go for Sweden.
They've been established in the international stage for a lot longer. It would make sense to go with Sweden.
Yeah.
Can anyone see anything from Belgium that could upset that?
Nope.
Nope? Quick one, straight to the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Sweden going to take it. Okay, on we go. It agrees, you can count on it. So we put that down as decided before the game. Sweden goes on to face either England or Spain. we've got to just go to a vote because we've spoken about it so much. Rachel, I'll start with you.
Okay. I think it will be close. I think there'll be 1 goal in it, so I'm going to go Spain.
1-0.
I think, yeah,
She's
1-0.
Spanish.
Channeling my inner Spanish.
It's a conspiracy. Missy Bo, what do you reckon?
England.
I don't even need to ask, do I? But score predictions, how do you see the game panning out? A close game?
I say it's going to be really, really close, but I think we're going to be finally a different Spanish team.
You're going to score a goal? Some more goals?
I might have to borrow a few from England, but yeah. Definitely, yeah. Maybe 1-2.
2-0. You can't see England have
think
got so
2-1.
much firepower. It'd be hard to stop them
2-1.
scoring.
2-1,
To
1-2
England.
for me.
Yeah. Mim, what's your prediction?
I think 2-1 as well. I can't see many more goals than that. And I think we're going to see a lot from Ellen White. I think that experience is going to come out and step up. I think she's kind of been proving herself as well, because she didn't score for so long, from 8+ in the tournament. So I think she's proven herself this tournament as well and setting an example for the younger players.
Ellen White, on the big stage, how many golden boots? She's always at the top of the scoring chart. Do you think having a player like that who is used to these rounds, used to these tournaments, can be the difference in a game like England and Spain?
I mean, for me, Ellen White, everybody speaks about, when you speak about a striker, it's about scoring goals, but what she brings to England off the ball, it's just something that many people wouldn't see, but me as a footballer or coaches, she brings so much. And I think when she's on the pitch, the team creates more. And
She's
it's
so
okay
hard.
if she doesn't play.
She's so hardworking. She's such a great role model, as you say. But just it's infectious when you see someone, the focal point of the team, working as hard as she does. It can count for a lot. So
you say you hope she doesn't play. Who will that Spanish team rather line up against in the forward areas? Who would you prefer that England played?
On top.
Yeah. Who would be? Who
Someone
would
that
suit?
is not a striker. Because
Ellie
Rosa is
Roebuck,
doing
she's
really good,
up there.
so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The best team, we go for it.
Well, I've got to go with England. I'm probably going to try and take this shirt home, so I'll be the deciding vote and go England. And hopefully this agrees with me because it. Consult me later. We've got an 8-ball that sits on the fence, which I think is a good way to end. So thank you all for your time. Appreciate it. Make sure you're following the PFA for all of the content, and we'll see you ahead of the final.